It was love at first sight. It was probably 9 months or so of dating, and we just knew. And he popped the question in front of all of our coworkers. About a week afterwards, I found out I was having our first son, Ethan. And so it went quickly from planning for a wedding to planning for a baby. And ultimately, we decided that I would get out of the military and raise our child. And he continued in.
I volunteered myself to deploy about 2007 and came out good, redeployed again. That second deployment really took a lot out of me. I was different. I was a very changed person, very angry, very stressed, depressed, to the point to where I contemplated taking my own life. Looking at her, I feel like I wanted to say something, but I couldn't say it.
Something had happened with re-enlistment paperwork, and they told us we had 6 months and we were out. It was a complete start over. I was dealing with, all the separations of the military, and then I felt this piece of him that was gone that I couldn't figure out why, and I wasn't getting an answer to. And then I started to get angry and bitter. I just felt it all crumbling. I just told him that I didn't love him anymore, and that was it, and we're gonna figure this out and see, what we do next.
We weren't coexisting really well together, avoiding each other, ignoring each other, walking past each other, even looking at each other was very hostile.
And we sat down and we had a talk.
She asked me what had happened back in Las Vegas, and I was to the point where I could not keep it anymore inside. Of course, my biggest fears came to life, came to reality. Her finding out of my infidelity. A huge tornado just erupted in the house. Everything we had, what we wanted together, was gone. I went over to my parents' house, lived there for about 2 weeks.
I feel like that's probably the loneliest I'd ever felt in my whole entire life. I just remember being like, God, I need a friend. At the end of that week, I went to church and we talked, and I said, I went to a church last Sunday and I would really want you to go. And if you don't want to sit with me, that's fine, but I would like you to go. And so we went, and I ran into Myra for the first time. And it was quick. And then we left. We wound up at a burger place, and we had just ordered. And in walks Myra and Abel and their kids. Wow, we're gonna eat together. Let's eat together. Let's put tables together. And I'm just like, how are we in this situation? Well, it's only God. She just started sharing her testimony with her and Abel and what God did in restoring their marriage. And it gave me hope. I felt God just kind of giving me this picture of, when you give your marriage over to me, this is what I can do. I restore things. In the middle of the burger joint, we're just like, I'm bawling my eyes out. And she said, you bring him home. Your family stays together. God has the final say in your marriage. He was about to leave to go back to his parents' house. And I just looked at him and I said, I don't want you to go. I want to fix what is broken. So from that point on, we went over to his family's house and we grabbed his stuff, and I remember hugging your dad. Your dad was so happy, and just like tears. That night we just talked all night long, and just about anything and everything. Years and years of talking that should have been done long before. I felt God wanting me to share about forgiveness and what Jesus did. The reason that I can give you forgiveness and that we can move forward is because God forgave me.
Prayed and accepted Christ. Went back to the church, kept going back. Did some group therapy, one-on-one with the pastor and the pastor's wife. We sat down with them, explained what happened, and kind of got mentorship and helped us through a lot of it. So we're able to stay together and
Heal.
heal, absolutely heal. I was baptized at a friend's pool about a week before I deployed.
And we learned through that you can't hide things in the darkness. When you get married and you choose to share your life with that person, you have to share your life. And seeing our family and seeing our boys
Yes.
accept Christ and be baptized, us being planted in the church, from that moment I felt like we had a new marriage. And then when he deployed, and I was like, oh man, God, like, how are we going to continue to heal when he's deploying? And I feel like our continuous talks and you sending the Bible verses, just I love yous and pictures throughout the day, that was a healing that I needed. To now, looking at it, I really feel like it had to break all the way in order for God to come in and make something beautiful.